Welcome to another episode of Virtual Pizzazz for Teachers. I'm Brian Tarallo, and today Ray Ringel and I are going to be talking about things you can do with your webcam. And so we've decided to actually turn off our virtual backgrounds and invite you into our homes today. So Ray, what can you do with webcams?
Hey everyone, excited to show you today some of the things you can not only use with your webcam, but ways that we can bring our homes and our environment right into the learning. So what I'm really going to be talking about today is the concept of show and tell, right? How to grab an object and how to connect it, either have students connect to each other or have students connect to the learning. What essentially we're going to do is we are going to turn our homes into a scavenger hunt. So I prototyped this with my kids this morning, and these are the prompts I asked them, which are prompts I want to suggest for you to do online in your classrooms. First prompt I asked, and just for context, I have 4 kids between the ages of 9 and 15, so they span 3rd to 10th grade, and I asked all of them to get involved. So for connection, I asked, bring me something that is meaningful to you that you wouldn't normally bring to class, and I got a basketball trophy. Then I asked the question, what is your favorite thing about summer? And I got one of my daughters in the white with her close friends from camp because she loves summer camp. Then I said, bring me your favorite stuffed animal. I got one stuffy here that is an animal / pillow. And I was very pleased to see a second favorite stuffed animal is a bunny. And if you look closely on the foot of the bunny, it says Ray, which is bizarre because there's nothing that ever says Ray. There's no mugs, there's no t-shirts, nothing ever says Ray. So we do love this bunny. Ways for them to connect to each other. Finally, the last prompt that I made is, can you bring to the camera or bring to me something that you made? And I got this piece of ceramics that looks like a high top, but if you see here the opening, it's actually a piggy bank. So my daughter can give charity and collect it there. The other idea here is that you can link this concept of scavenger hunt or show and tell to particular content that you're working on. So for the younger ones, I would say, bring me something that starts with the letter B. I got a banana, I got a basketball, and I got Band-Aids. So this would probably work best with the younger ones who are learning how to read or doing letter recognition, but a great way for them to go throughout the house and find things. Then I said, what's a favorite book? And for the younger one, I got The Day the Crayons Quit, which I have to say is one of my favorites as well. Engaging some of the older ones around middle school, I took it up a notch and I said, bring me an object or something that represents culture to you. And she brought me actually something she made here in a woodworking workshop, which is a menorah that we use on a holiday of Hanukkah. Then I said, what's something in the house that you would use for measuring? We got a ruler and a measuring cup. And then finally, to my middle schooler, bring me your favorite book and tell me why. It was a close tie. Harry Potter, obviously, and Out of My Mind. So for the books in particular, and I think you could do this from 2nd grade all the way through high school, have them bring their favorite book, throw them into breakout rooms, and start your book club. Each child has the opportunity to go around and say why this was their favorite book, what their favorite part of it was, and make the case for why someone else should read it. Fantastic way to get them actually all connected to each other. So those are some of the ways to immediately engage people, to connect them to each other, to connect them to the curriculum. And now I'm going to turn it over to Brian, who's going to share some other ways that we can use our webcam.
Thanks, Ray. One of my favorite things to do with participants is to invite them to make marks on paper. And by the way, that's the way that I like to frame it, is not to say we're going to ask you to draw, because some people have some hang-ups about drawing, but say we're just going to make some marks on paper. So one thing that you could do would be to say, go ahead and do a drawing of your house. Giving your students a little bit of time to do that. You know, maybe there's a tree that's in front. You don't have to demonstrate it for them if you want to, but that's good enough, you know. And what is it that you like about your house? What does house mean for you? What does your home mean to you? Another thing that you could do is you could say, well, let's do the parts of a flower or a plant. where we know that we have the flower, we have the stem, we have the leaves, and we have the roots. Making marks on paper, draw the parts of a plant. We could practice some lettering if you like. So maybe it's the first letter of your first name, and we can try it in cursive. That's about as good as I can do in cursive. Or, you know, if that's a little bit daunting, print is fine. Or maybe it's something with triangles. Maybe we're in a geometry unit. So something that has triangles, and maybe they draw the pyramids. Okay. So again, I like to say, do something that makes marks on paper, and then once they're done, they can hold it up to their webcam, and you might make it something of a contest. Who's the first person that can think of something, and then show it to the webcam.
Great, thanks so much, Brian. And I think the theme here that we're going for in conclusion is two things. One is use what you have. We actually have a lot at our disposal because we are at home right now, and we're pretty limitless in terms of materials that we can bring in and connect and show. It's all about, instead of operating from a mindset of deficit because we're not in school, let's operate from a mindset of abundance, of all the things that we actually do have around us. And then the second thing is to remember this, going back to our design principles, is this is a great way to have the engaged learning, then have them move away from their video, some asynchronistic time to go and find something in their house, to have them bring it back, and then maybe have them break out in smaller groups to really connect. This will keep their energy up, it'll keep them moving, and most of all, it'll keep them creative, how to really stay creative in this moment and make connections between things in their house and the things that they're learning in school. So thanks so much, and we'll look forward to seeing you on our next episode.